bent weird look at Seth Rollins. I've seen people that curl it up all the way, but he's like,
Roman sure looks happy.
right? Oh, looks so sunburned. This is probably the last picture where my face won't be sunburned.
Oh, you're. Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. This is going to be a video on me attending SummerSlam Access and being able to be lucky enough to be able to meet the Shield. All three members, basically all at one time. Very, very cool to be able to meet the three guys. For the one thing that, you know, SummerSlam Access was very special this year. They only sold out of meeting one wrestler for the VIPs. That one wrestler was John Cena. The one wrestler that they should have sold out for was Shawn Michaels. I'll talk about that in my experience video. But you know, the day that the pre-sale happened, I went buck nasty buying the VIPs. I was able to meet another wrestler through eBay with somebody selling off some tickets late, trying to make sure that they didn't lose all their money. And that was how I met Daniel Bryan. But meeting the Shield was a priority for me this year, basically because no groups last forever. Every group has to come to a point when, you know, they break up and they go their separate ways. Even if, you know, maybe one guy leaves the group and they replace it, you'll never have the three original members. I know that Hogan, Hall, and Nash have done, like, sporadic autograph signings, and you've been able to get a picture with all three guys, but when it comes down to it, Scott Hall doesn't look like Scott Hall of yesterday, and just to be able to get these three guys all in their prime was the one best thing. I was an idiot for one reason. For some reason, I thought when I met these three guys, I thought they would be sort of in their gimmick as, you know, wearing all black and everything like that. Seth Rollins was wearing a just sort of like a blue shirt with his normal everyday, you know, baseball hat on. This sort of surfer folded up the bill, like maybe skateboarding is the best way to do it. I'm not 100% sure. Dean Ambrose was wearing some stupid yellow shirt with sunglasses. Roman Reigns, my favorite guy of the three, at least, was wearing the Shield shirt. I think if all three guys would have been wearing the shirt, it would have been a whole lot better. But honestly, when it comes down to it, Roman was wearing his shirt. Cena was in full gear with his you know, white T-shirt on right now that he has the belt on the bottom. He was carrying the belt. He was all wristbanded up. He had his hat on. He was the John Cena you would think you would see if he was doing any sort of media or anything. I think that's probably what Cena wears 24/7, unless he's going out to some fancy dinner, and then he probably puts on a suit or something like that. But the John Cena you see on TV is the John Cena that you get at all the autograph signings and everything like that along the way. Now, I'm not knocking him for doing it, because I should have known that's what was going to happen. But for some reason in my dream mind, that's how I was going to meet the three members of the Shield. Like I said, I walked away very happy. I got an autographed 8x10 from those guys. I was able to get this picture, which it will never be duplicated. I mean, like if they last until Survivor Series and they do their access there that I've heard they're going to do in Boston, I'd be sort of surprised if they make it to Mania next year. You know, it's going to be very sporadic that you're able to get a picture with all three guys all at one time. And that's going to be awesome for me. I'll cherish this picture for the rest of my time. I've said 1,000 times that, you know, the pictures are getting to the point where they mean more than the autographs for me. I had to go out and buy an 8x10 because they weren't in the Volume 1 or Volume 2, the encyclopedia. And it was a pretty sick picture, which I got off eBay. It's in one of my things. I'll show it in my autographs from SummerSlam video, which I'll get around to making sometime or another. The funny thing about this is that when access tickets first went on sale, there was an understanding that the premium VIPs, which were like your top dog guys, John Cena, Triple H, who else was the premium? Was there a premium VIP for Sunday? I can't remember. But those guys at the, you know, the top echelon of you know, best of the best guys. Probably Randy Orton was a premium VIP as well, I would guess. You were to go inside the Staples Center. Something happened along the way where that didn't happen, and basically they were just in the normal autograph signing booth that they normally do. This time they did two of the VIP lanes up front, so you were surrounding the ring as you were waiting, which was pretty awesome. Honestly, I thought that was really, really cool that we got to wait it in those queues, and you were able to watch the matches as they happened. So, you know, there is some sort of entertainment. When you're in the other lines, you're basically at the mercy of whoever's standing around you, and hopefully that you can find somebody cool that you want to talk wrestling with, because most of the time you're going to be in these lines for 45 minutes to an hour, and if you're just standing there, you know, not saying anything, you're going to be bored out of your mind. I always bring my iPod with me as a secret, and I have it in my bag, but I've never really pulled it out because I've honestly been able to find people to talk to in lines, whether it's talking about this, that, or the other. That the time flies by, and finally, before the end of the line, you're up there meeting the guys. I was waiting in this line with freaking 88. It was almost my fault that we didn't even get to meet these guys. I haven't had a chance to watch Yaya's video yet. I fell asleep watching it once the first night he put it up, but I fell asleep very early into it, probably in between 5 to 10 minute mark. So if he tells this story, I apologize, but we were walking. We met John Cena, we met Daniel Bryan, and then we were going to walk down the line and we were going to find the Shield. For some reason, some people that were in line told us that the Shield got bumped back to the next Access signing because they didn't have the inside venue. They were just going to do 2 VIPs at a time, and the Shield were just going to get bumped back. Hey, that's fine. We were going to be there anyways. We would have met them. So we went walking down the line, and I honestly was marking out at every group along the way that I wanted to meet them. I wanted to meet them. And he kept on saying, no, let's see. He wanted to walk all the way down to the end. There was a point when I almost said, you go find who you want to meet, because 3-man band was out there, and I honestly really wanted a picture with those 3 dudes. From all the videos that were posted for Mania this year, and all the Access pictures that got posted on Twitter and everything else, my favorite picture was with one of the Lorenzo brothers meeting 3-man band, and I wanted to recreate that picture somehow, some way. I wasn't able to meet them this weekend, but there will come a day, hopefully, when I can meet those 3 guys. But in the picture, basically, McIntyre has his shirt undone, his hands out like he's freaking Jesus Christ, and his head up in the air. Just like he doesn't even, like he's in total rock star mode, that he just doesn't even care where the hell he's at. So basically, I came to my senses, then we walked upon, and there's the fucking Shield just standing there. They're in a regular booth, not an Access booth, but there is somebody making sure that you have a freaking wristband in order to get there. One secret that I did notice, that if you did sneak into the handicap lane, there was nobody checking to see if you had a wristband. And there was lots of people that were able to get pictures and that were able to get autographs from the Shield. Finally, one of the security guards was I wasn't going to rain on their parade, but finally some guy realized that more people were in that handicap lane that were supposed to. And they did the lockdown on that. But at least 15, 20 people got to meet them faster than I did, and for free. Now, when we got up there, I really didn't have a whole lot to say. I can't even remember if I went first or second. I think I went second, and yeah, went before me. Because I just noticed how smooth he was at getting like 2 autographs from all of these guys over and over and over again. I was honestly very scared. But I think Seth Rollins thought it was cool that he was having him sign an ROH DVD or a PWG DVD, whichever one it was. So, sort of like being able to say that you were a fan of his from the beginning. Along the way, and I exchange, just pleasant hellos, and I'm a big fan. I appreciate everything you guys have done with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Then when I went to meet Roman Reigns, he noticed that I was a 49er fan, and we talked about the Niners. Now this is going to be the year, and I shook his hand, and I appreciated the autograph, and I said thank you very much. But I wasn't going to be able to walk away with something, that I didn't get that moment with the Shield. So I took a step, I stopped, and I turned around, like I pivoted back at him, and I said, Roman, if I can have one more second of your time, I don't want to knock these 2 guys at all. I don't mean any disrespect. And when I said that, I immediately noticed that both guys turned their head at me like, oh, what the fuck is this motherfucker gonna say? Like I was gonna, slam them into the ground. And I just said, Roman, there's gonna come a day when you're going to have to kick the shit out of both of those guys. And I want you to know that you're going to be able to do it because you're my favorite guy, and there's going to come a day when you beat these guys up, and I'm going to be going crazy sitting at home. I said, I'm a big fan of yours, and I want you to get pushed all the way to the top. And he just shook my hand, and I appreciated it. Seth Rollins was like, that was really cool. It took a lot of guts. And I was like, it really wasn't a lot of guts. It just, I wanted to tell the guy that he was my favorite. Honestly, when it came down to it, a lot of the ROH guys, fans were all over Seth Rollins when he was able to come in and debut. There was a lot of guys from Dragon Gate and just, indie feds that, make Dean Ambrose seem up like he was God. And Roman was just this one guy, but Roman's the one guy sort of like in the Nexus. Skip Sheffield was always the guy with the big clothesline that knocked everybody out. And, Roman is the guy with the spear. They do the triple power bomb after it, but I mean, it's always the spear that knocks him out. It's always, he one day is going to be, the Batista of the group. I see him as the guy that's going to become the big star. He's got the size, he's got the look, he's got the pedigree of, a lot of guys that have gone to the top. And, I've been wrong on a lot of guys. I picked Jack Swagger the same way that I'm picking Roman Reigns now, but I think that of the three, he is going to be the biggest star of the three. No knock to Ambrose, no knock to Seth Rollins. I'm sure both of them are going to do just fine. But, the one guy that I'm putting my stamp on is Roman, and I wanted to make sure that he knew that. So I had a lot of fun. I'll turn around. I'll start doing the experience video now, and hopefully I'll be able to finish that sumbitch before we got to go out and go to dinner tonight. So peace out, guys. Have fun.